In this video, I'm going to remove the money blocks that are keeping you stuck at the same level that you've been at for months, maybe even years. We're going to go in and change this at the subconscious level so that you can finally hit the 10K, the 50K, the 100K months without the self-sabotage. And how can I say this? Well, not only have I had the opportunity to work with a handful of millionaires, but also I've been working with entrepreneurs and traders to break through these specific blocks. And there's no difference between the person who's making $5,000 a month or $100,000 a month, because the monetary blocks does not know any numbers. So I'm going to run you through the 3 blocks that I found that is going to help you make your new goal the new normal. But first you need to understand what these blocks actually are, because most people who think that they need a new strategy, 99% of them don't. What they really need is to remove the block that is stopping them from being able to use the strategy in the right way. Money blocks does not come from what you think about money. It comes from what you know to be true about money based on your experience of it in your life. That's the biggest difference, is that even if you think that, yes, I'm abundant, yes, I'm prosperous, money comes to me with ease, but if you know that you've never had money coming to you with ease, that is not what you know to be true about money. And that is a pair of glasses that you're looking at money through. And that's not a pair of glasses that you put on yourself. It's a pair of glasses that your upbringing, your parents, or maybe even just one person with enough conviction made you start looking through those glasses. Maybe someone told you when you were a kid that money is so hard to earn and you have to save every penny. And with enough conviction, this person actually hypnotized you to believe that. So let's start going through the 3 blocks. And once you understand which one is running your life at this moment, then you can remove that block and you can get to that next level. The first block is the desire block. And that simply just means, do I even want money? Most people, they say they want more money. And who doesn't? But somewhere along the way, they made money mean something that they didn't want to be. For me, when I started making money, I was also, just like I did before I was making money, I was drinking, partying, doing drugs, women, all of the above. And I started putting the connection, because my parents had taught me that the people who make a lot of money, they are evil, they don't have a life, they don't enjoy life, they hate life. I made the connection that my money made me corrupt. That was the part. The reason why I was partying and having a shitty life was because I was partying so much. So I created the association that money was bad. And as soon as I did that, money was not wanting to be in my space anymore, because I didn't want it. I subconsciously started pushing it away in any way that I could. So for many years, I was subconsciously putting myself at a place where I felt small, where I didn't feel like I had money, because at least then I wasn't corrupted. At least I wasn't a bad person at that time. So how do you actually overcome a belief that you've been carrying your whole life? The first thing we need to do is to make a crack in that belief. We need to start questioning it. What if it's not true? What if there is a way for me to have money and still be a good person? And to really do this in a very logical and simple way in your life now is to find someone who is a good person and who has a lot of money. And maybe that could be something else, like it's a person who has a lot of money but also has a lot of free time. Some people, they will say, oh yeah, but I need to work 12 hours a day. But that's not even true. So find someone that breaks this belief. And a lot of time, as I told you, with the glasses, because since you have the glasses on, you don't even believe that there is a person like that. You don't think it's a reality. But I'm saying, put on some new glasses, make some cracks in the belief, and then it will all shatter. So by having this new experience of this person, and if you can meet them, talk to them, spend time with them, and start to understand that there is a way, then those beliefs are going to be gone so fast. So that's block number 1. But even if you want it, that's not enough, because the next block is about believing if you're allowed to have it. Before we move on to the second one, if you need any help with this, if you need my support and help you break those limiting stories around money, if you can't make it, if you can't keep it, or if you can't grow it. All of those could be mental blocks. So if you want my help, there's a link down in the bio down below. And let's continue with the second block. The second block is the identity block. And that basically just means, can I have it? Your pricing and your income usually mirrors your own self-worth, whether you like it or not. Because if you logically think about what money could give you, the opportunities, the freedom, the good food, the healthy things that you could give yourself, the way you could take care of the people that you love, the way you could give back to the community, the way you could give back to anything or support causes or help animals, then you would realize that a very loving way of taking care of yourself would be to make more money. My biggest way this money identity thing shifted was when I saw two people with the same service, one charging €50 per hour and one charging $10,000 per hour. And I realized that these people have the same thing, but they value themselves in a completely different way. So the only difference with it was that this person right here charging $10,000 for an hour was seeing his self-worth higher. And this person right here, he wasn't. So the fastest way to understand and solve this is to ask yourself, the 10,000, the 50,000, the 100,000 that you see as a lot, is it really a lot, or is it just a pedestal that is a lot for you? So, I mean, the difference, if you look at a billionaire and they look at $1 million, it's not a lot for them. So the real way we want to go about this is to normalize the big, normalize the a lot. And that way, the way you can do this logically, obviously, is by spending time in circles with people making much more money than you. Because all of a sudden, your big numbers are not going to be big anymore. And now all of a sudden, you're not going to feel so much emotions when you're trying to reach this. But this is the thing, your subconscious doesn't change from a thought. And there's two real ways of doing this. One is an incremental way, that is you raising your prices $50 a pop, taking 10 clients and then raising it again, 10 clients, raising it again, 10 clients, raising it again. Or you can do something called a quantum leap. And this is where you do something completely different. And instead of doing this, you think, okay, what would the price is? Let's say I would increase my prices 10 times. That version of me that charges, let's say $1,000 instead of $100, okay? What would that $1,000 want out of me? The client who pays $1,000, what would they want out of me? And then you prepare and you become this version of yourself already now, and then you're able to charge those numbers. So the important thing is to start believing that you can charge higher prices, that you can sell higher priced products, or that you can scale. So you got to ask yourself, what would I need to do, or who do I need to become in order to believe that this could be possible for me? That is block number 2. But wanting it and believing that you can have it doesn't solve the final problem, because the third block is the one that decides if you can actually keep it once it shows up. The third block is a safety block, and that means, do you actually believe that you can keep it? Some people can make money, but they can't hold it. That means you will have good weeks, you will have good months, and then all of a sudden you will get rid of it in some way. And usually that will show up as self-sabotage. It comes in, it goes right out, because somewhere inside of you, not consciously, you don't believe that you are worthy of having it. For me, after my biggest month ever, I came home to celebrate with my family, and all I got back was, you look stressed, you're not happy, when are you gonna relax? And in my mind, which I didn't know at the time, I made the equation that making this amount of money doesn't make me happy. And I wrote the equation in my mind that more money means more stress and less money means more freedom. And in the months coming after, I gave away all of my money and I had to take out a loan to survive. That is the power of the mind. That is the power of emotional pressure inside of you, and how powerful the self-sabotage can be whenever you have those specific glasses on. Even if you consciously want money and your subconscious mind does not want money, the subconscious is always going to win. because that is where your patterns, your habits, anything that you're not aware of happens. That's when the self-sabotage comes. So to get through an experience like this, if you've had a moment where everything just shifted for you, number one is to go through it in your mind and feeling the emotions of the experience. But then again, logically going back to the belief and saying, what if this is not true? What if keeping money doesn't have to feel as dangerous as it did back before? What if keeping money does not have to be as dangerous as it was back then? And then again, what we want to do is to make it feel normal, just like the big amounts, we want to make that feel normal. We also want to make it normal to have and keep our money. So just getting around people like that, talking about money and seeing how they did it, and understanding that it is possible to keep your money, even if you're in a situation that you are in. So the more you do this and the more you start seeing it as normal, the more your nervous system is going to be regulated, and the easier it's going to be to actually keep the money so that you don't throw it away as soon as you get it into your accounts. So how do you actually make this shift, but for good, forever? Because now you know the 3 blocks. You know the desire block, the identity block, and the safety block. And how do you actually make these shifts? Because these have been wired for a long time in your life. And these are just beliefs, and these beliefs are triggering your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. And there are 2 ways that we can shift a belief. Either something has to happen that is so emotionally powerful that the old story can't survive. If you said that money is evil, and now you met a person that has a lot of money and it's absolutely not an evil person, that is the place where this old story can't survive. Something your mind cannot argue with. Or you choose to believe something before you can see it. I heard this in an interview with Ibrahim, the billionaire hypnotist, and he said that the difference between billionaires and normal people is that normal people have to see it before they can believe it, and billionaires have to believe it before they can see it. They are much more open to new suggestions, to new ideas, to new ways of being, because they've seen what is possible and they don't see the limits. I mean, a very fast way to feel this is to imagine, what if you were sitting around your 10 closest friends? Let's say you had 10 friends, I hope you have. 10 closest friends, and all of them were making $20,000 a month. And you were the only person making $15 an hour. How many dinners do you think you would need until you started questioning yourself? Well, that is because 20K is the new normal, because everyone else makes it. Just like working out, the real shift happens from repeated training. Just like you train your body, you have to train your mind. And this is the way to expand your mind and shift your beliefs. So either you can choose one of my videos, work through the emotions, create a new story, and visualize the new version, the new thing that you actually want to believe on repeated cycle. Or you can always book a link down below and work with me, and I will help you find the mental blocks. We'll question them, we'll work with them, and we'll install new beliefs through hypnosis. And in that way, you're going to be able to take that next big leap with so much more ease and no self-sabotage. Because if there's no opposing belief, your subconscious and your conscious mind is going to go in the same direction, and we're all going to be on board, and everyone is going to be okay with going fast. So thank you so much for watching, and hope you enjoyed this video.